It's amazing and fascinating to see the group of entrepreneurs who are here. From my end, I'm really glad that you cut short my intro, because I really look, when I combine with what each one of you are accomplishing, I'm just doing this very tiny bit. What I'm going to try to share with you today is the core mantra that we in our company use with every possible client. And the mantra is very simply guest experience enhancement. The reason we look at the three words, and let's start from the back, enhancement, because you really have to get better. I was just talking to one of you right there a few minutes back. The best way to position new business is who currently has a dissatisfaction. If you find a dissatisfaction which has a business feasibility for you, attack it right away. Which means, if you want to stay ahead, enhance your business. The second part, which we'll focus a lot, is experience. It's all about the total experience. And finally, it's about guest. As we start looking at guest, the thing that we need to start understanding, what exactly is a guest? I start looking at a guest is not just a customer. A guest is every stakeholder who touches your brand directly or indirectly. Some of you here do not see the end user, but trust me on this. If you want to make $1 million, at the end of the pipeline somewhere, either you need one man or a woman who's willing to spend $1 million with you, or 1 million people willing to spend $1 each with you, or something in between. So we really always need to remember the face of the customer. So as we start looking at, I try to break these stakeholders down by saying, there are the customers, there are different groups of people, investors. All these are people who are touching your brand. But what's amazing is each of these people go ahead and they talk about your brand to others, and that is a conversation you do not control. For example, when you leave today, you will right away tweet your friends by saying what a garbage presentation this was. Yeah. Or you could say, this is amazing. And I do not control that conversation. Each one of you here are my guests, and you will move what you heard here today. Even the simple introductions earlier are all touching this brand. So as we go through, this morning when I was meeting with Herb, we just put it anonymous because we couldn't find the source. What we learned was 80% of what you need to learn in the next 5 years will come from an industry outside. That is the way Herb or smart people say. For me, I'm not that smart. What I say is, find something that works in another industry, steal it legally, apply it in your industry, and then you look outside and say, wow! It's the wow part of it that will give you credit. And as we start looking at it, what we did was just to look at a different set of industries. I tried to get you a breadth of as many different industries I could think and touch. And as you go through this evening, most of you will have a business which is very complicated than all these combined. But the challenge again is, how do you take all these combined learning and make it into a guest experience enhancement? Finally, before I get into the content, I really believe in the 3 to 7 day rule. To me, a 3 to 7 day rule is anywhere, anything you see. In your mind, you want to do something. If you don't do anything in the next 3 to 7 days, you will never, ever do that thing. So what I would request at the end of this meeting, at the end of the panel discussions, to decide what you want to do in the next 3 to 7 days. And one of the things could be as simple as, I'm not going to act on this presentation. That's fine. But I would really request you to document that, because at least that way you bring closure. I just think about, I'm going to start, I have the 24-hour fitnesses voucher. I promise you, I'm going to join one of these days, but it hasn't happened. So that's the 3 to 7 day rule. So as we go through, there are 3 consumer trends that we have looked at in recent times. None of you will be surprised by this. First and foremost, there's an intense competition. The second part is, as always, consumers want to spend less and they want more. In a simple layman's term, let's say, sir, I used to come to you earlier and buy something for $10. Now I come back to you and say, how about 6? You say, Arjun, slap you. Okay. Then I come back again. I'll pay you $10. Will you give me something more? Now, in the process of this thing, Arjun has this light bulb that goes on where I realize, why do I just come to him? If I can negotiate with him and he is not negotiating, which means there's somebody somewhere who is willing to give me more. Which to me means if you are in Vegas, the biggest jackpot that opens for you is all doors are open to you. I've worked a lot in the food industry to realize that I've never will see this kind of a time where Dunkin' Donuts is competing with Starbucks. Would never happen in our lifetime. This again means who you are. For you to build your business, you can look way outside your category because the consumer is open, which means you need to be open. Now we'll play a little game. I want each one of you to start thinking how ridiculous a customer can be. And I'll give you an example. Let's think you work for Hertz. If you work for Hertz, what's the most ridiculous thing, bizarre thing a guest or a customer can come and ask you and want from you? Anybody? Rent a car for free. Thank you. Next example. Next is pizza. A pizza customer comes and asks you, what does he want or she want? The bizarrest thing. Chauffeur. What's that?
A chauffeur.
A chauffeur. That's fine. Target. The die-hard Target customer, what does he or she want? Valet parking. Great answers. Then the Children's Hospital. If you are a customer of Children's Hospital, what's the most important thing for you? Childcare. Great answer. What we do is we go and we believe in one thing, that the customer always can surprise us. So as we go and start asking, the Hertz customer tells us, get my car ready for me, Arjun. Don't give me $1 off because what you do not know, my company pays for it. If you got the free car, it doesn't help you. Because now you have a challenge on your expense report to put 0. What were you doing there, girl? The second part is pizza. The pizza customer tells us, Arjun, if I'm that important to you on a Friday afternoon when I call you a Friday evening, stop everybody else's, put my pizza in first. Think about it. They don't want $1 off. They can pay for the pizza. The next example is Target. This gets even stranger. Visualize mom with a cell phone on the neck, purse on this side, cart full of groceries or whatever they're getting, and 3 kids hanging. What does that mom want? The moment mom gets close to the counter or the cashier, mom wants you to open a counter just for her. If mom is left-handed, the whole thing's changed. So mom can just sit, and maybe you give a little back massage. That's what mom wants. Children's Hospital. What's amazing is they want service first. How ridiculous is it in this particular country of ours that we go there with the sick children and they want us to pay first? Wow. Why can't you take care of my sick child? Take her somewhere, take care of her. I'll stand here. I promise I'll give you my wallet. I'll pay.